It was a hot Saturday afternoon in the bustling city of Johannesburg. Naledi sat in her bedroom, the hum of the electric fan barely enough to push the thick, warm air aside. A typical teenager, she was glued to her phone, flipping through the latest tech blogs and scrolling through her social media feed. Her grandfather's tablet lay on her desk, an old relic that no one really paid much attention to anymore. It had been years since anyone had touched it, especially since her grandfather had passed away. But today, curiosity tugged at Naledi. She picked it up, the smooth surface of the tablet cool against her fingertips. It was surprisingly lightweight for its age. As she powered it on, the screen flickered before revealing a simple home page with only one app visible, an app she had never seen before. It had no name, just a strange symbol resembling an ancient artifact. Without hesitation, Naledi tapped the app. What was the worst that could happen? It was just an old tablet, right? But as soon as she opened the app, a series of strange, cryptic messages appeared. It was a writing platform of sorts, but unlike anything she had ever seen. She tapped on the blank page and began to type. "A cat appears in my living room." Within seconds, her phone buzzed. She looked down, confused. Her mother, who had been in the kitchen all morning, stepped into her room. "Naledi, where did this cat come from?" she asked, her voice laced with disbelief. The cat from the story. It had happened. Naledi's pulse quickened as she stared at the app. Could it be? Was this some kind of prank or glitch? She hadn't believed it at first, but now, the evidence was right in front of her. The cat from her story had materialized. She felt a strange, exhilarating chill run down her spine. This wasn't a coincidence. Whatever this app was, it had power, real power. The next day, she couldn't resist trying it again. She had to know if it was just a fluke. She opened the app once more, the empty page staring back at her. This time, she typed something simple but useful. "My mother finds her lost wallet under the couch." The moment her fingers left the screen, Naledi's heart raced. She felt the strange energy from earlier posts through her veins. And sure enough, minutes later, her mother stormed into her room. "Naledi, you won't believe it. I found my wallet under the couch. I had checked there this morning." Her voice was filled with shock and excitement. The app was real. It was doing what she was writing. But why? How? The stories kept coming, small things at first. Naledi helped her brother, Tabo, win a local soccer match by writing a tale about his incredible last-minute goal. She described a perfect day of sunshine and rainbows for her family picnic, and it happened exactly as she'd written. Every time she used the app, she couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play, but it was also addictive. She felt like she had discovered a superpower, something that no one else had ever experienced. As she grew bolder with her stories, she decided to try something more significant. One evening, while watching the news about a local park being flooded, she wrote, "The rain stops, and the floodwaters recede instantly." The app glowed brighter than it had before. The moment Naledi hit submit, the skies above Johannesburg cleared, the sun emerging from behind the clouds as though the storm had never happened. The news report updated, stating that the floodwaters had inexplicably subsided. Naledi could hardly believe her eyes. She had just rewritten reality. But then, something strange happened, something that made her stomach drop. Her actions didn't go unnoticed. The following week, a bizarre event shook the city. a massive fire broke out at a building downtown. Naledi watched in horror as the flames spread rapidly, far beyond what seemed possible. She knew that she had somehow caused it, though not directly. It was as if her stories were spinning out of control, affecting the world in ways she hadn't intended. Desperate to undo the chaos, Naledi opened the app again. She typed, "The fire is extinguished, the building is saved, and everyone is safe." But as she hit submit, something unexpected happened. The fire didn't just disappear. Instead, the building, the people, the entire scene shifted, as if it had never been in the first place. The fire was gone, but so was everything around it, the memories of it erased. People who had been involved in the incident were now oblivious, acting as if the event never occurred. It wasn't just rewriting reality. She was erasing parts of history. That night, Naledi barely slept. Her mind was racing. What was she doing? Could she control the consequences of her actions? The more she experimented with the app, the more she realized that it wasn't just a tool for good. It had dark potential, too. The next day, Naledi overheard a conversation between her mother and her aunt about Saifo, a cousin who had been struggling with his grades. He needed a scholarship to attend university, but the deadline was fast approaching. Without it, his future was uncertain. Naledi could sense an opportunity, an easy way to change the course of Saifo's life. She typed, "Saifo is awarded a full scholarship to study engineering at the top university in South Africa." As soon as the words left her fingers, she felt an electric jolt, and the app seemed to hum louder than ever before. She couldn't help but wonder, was this how powerful she had become? That afternoon, Saifo came to Naledi, grinning. "You won't believe it. I just got an offer from a university I've always dreamed of. Full scholarship." Naledi felt a sense of triumph, but with it, a growing unease. She was shaping lives, but at what cost? Things spiraled out of control when Naledi, in a fit of anger, wrote a story about revenge. She had grown frustrated with a former friend who had betrayed her, and a thought flickered in her mind, what if I could make them pay? She typed furiously, "Zanil loses everything she holds dear. Her family turns against her, and she is left alone in the streets." Naledi hit submit, expecting nothing more than the usual odd occurrences that followed her stories. But the moment she did, something wrong happened. The air seemed to crackle with an unnatural tension, and the app paused violently as if alive. When Naledi looked up, she saw Zanil, the girl she had written about, her life visibly falling apart. Her house, once full of warmth, was now eerily quiet. Her family turned cold, disowning her. Zanil wandered the streets, an empty shell of who she had once been. Naledi felt sick to her stomach. She had set a chain of events in motion, and there was no turning back. Realizing how dangerous the app was, Naledi tried to undo the damage she had caused. She typed in desperate commands to reverse Zanil's fate, to heal the rift between her family and her, but the app did nothing. Zanil's life continued to spiral. Frustrated, Naledi closed the app. She couldn't stop the chaos she had unleashed. But as the days passed, something remarkable began to happen. She started to understand the app, its algorithms, its rules, its patterns. The more she delved into its depths, the clearer the path became. The app wasn't just a tool for changing reality, it was a living, breathing entity. And she had to learn to control it, or it would control her. The world around her began to distort again, but this time Naledi was ready. She knew what she had to do. She had learned the way of the app, the way of creation. But she also knew she had to rewrite the course of her own story. She typed her final command: all of the stories, all of the chaos, cease to exist. They are reset. The world is as it was before. With a deep breath, Naledi pressed submit. And just like that, everything changed. The world reset. The chaos, the destruction, the strange occurrences, all of it was undone. But Naledi wasn't just rewriting history. She had become the author of her own fate. Naledi looked out the window, the city of Johannesburg gleaming under the setting sun. She had done it. She had regained control of the app, mastered its power, and restored order. But something inside her had changed. She wasn't just a user of the technology anymore. She was its creator, its master. She typed her final wish into the app, knowing the world would never be the same again. I will now write the future. With that, the app paused once more, and Naledi understood. This wasn't just about changing reality. It was about evolving it. She wasn't just rewriting stories. She was shaping the world itself. The end, or was it just the beginning?